Hey, what's going on, guys and gals? Chef PV here, Troy. Team B Rotor, baby. Hashtag Zero Ground FPV, all that stuff. Today, we got the Connex Pro Sight. This is the delay-free HD FPV transmitter. This is the VTX kit. I had to replace a VTX, so this is one that I just got in. This one here is from Ready Made RC. I've been buying most of my Connex stuff from them, but TurboMach Drone Technologies is local here in San Antonio. They're actually carrying the Pro Sight gear too, and that's actually whose frame I'm running. You know the Ron 220. So, anywho, I wanted to go through just a quick couple of things about the VTX and antennas and stuff like that. So, real quick. Let's go ahead and crack this bad boy open. I'll show you what a VTX kit looks like. Couple of notes: if you order a camera in VTX separately, as in you order this kit and then a camera kit for an additional aircraft setup, you do get double the cables. So that's something that's really cool. Is you actually end up with one extra camera cable for every VTX and camera you order, because the VTX comes with one and the camera comes with one. So just something to note I thought was cool. And I actually had one camera wire cable set get busted up. So I actually used the VTX side set. So there you go. Took the slide cover off, open it up. There you go. You get your Pro Sight normal stuff. Decal. Here is your quick start guide that comes with it. A more in-depth limited warranty stuff, all that. But this is the kit here. So for every VTX you get another antenna holder and antennas already installed in that. And that's actually one of the things that we wanted to talk about. I'm going to show you how to open up the antenna and get the antennas out of the holder without breaking it. Not too difficult, but had some people trying to do it and they were breaking them open. So I just wanted to show you how. It comes with your VTX mounting kit hardware, all that stuff. This is Pro Sight antenna mount kit, so you have your screws for both. So here's the cables, and this is another interesting question. I definitely, and I'll put this in the description of the YouTube video you're watching, but there is a link to the on Connex HD when you click on support that says the Pro Sight tips of the day. I highly recommend you read that and the frequently asked questions about Connex Pro Sight, because it answers a lot of good questions. In fact, it gives you info about channel selection, a 2-minute startup rule. If you're on scan mode, you're supposed to let it sit for 2 minutes before you actually fly. How to fly with multiple people, not to run, scan mode, to run a hard channel value, all those things. But one of the things that it also covers is these cables, and the VTX has what some people are wondering what the power out could be used for, or what the unmarked port is for. So the unmarked port is your telemetry port. It actually is these blue and green cables in here are servo to Molex or JST, whatever that is. And somehow you can get telemetry. For some reason, if you wanted telemetry off the VTX, and I'll be honest, I don't know where you send it to, but there is telemetry that comes off of it. I guess you could send it to your FrSky RX maybe. Or I don't know if it actually is just voltage telemetry that you can send to the flight controller. I'll be honest, I'm not sure. But little tip. Powering the VTX, it can take up to 17 volts, which means it's 4S ready. Some people are worried about voltage spikes. I've never really been concerned with voltage spikes, so I'm not worried about it. And I haven't experienced any, knock on wood. So I direct wire this straight to my PDB. Now, I do have a Tempest flight controller on one of mine that I am running the filtered battery voltage through, and that's great. If you have a filtered battery voltage, go ahead and do it. If not, you should not need one, because from my understanding, the VTX has its own filtering built in. That's why it takes full voltage. The great thing about putting full voltage in is it's going to give you a full voltage read on your OSD. Some people are worried about voltage spikes, so they're dropping it down and putting it on 12 volts. Me personally, I'm running a full 16. I've never seen it spike on my OSD either. So there's that. So cables, VTX, mounts up pretty cleanly and easily. Size is obviously a little bit bigger than a normal VTX, but when it comes down to it, if you remove the antennas from this and you just add the VTX, the camera, and you take away, say, a TBS Triumph, a Unify Pro, and a standard kind of run cam camera, you're only gaining 23 grams with this HD setup. And I would argue that, yes, 23 grams is 23 grams. But I have found myself avoiding crashes, getting cleaner lines, and finding that I can squeeze through tighter gaps and faster gaps with the HD than I can my analog setup. So if I can push myself harder using HD, who cares about the 23 grams? Because ultimately I can fly faster. So that's just my take on it. For the Connex HD or the Connex digital system, people are breaking these things open to get the antennas out. And so I just wanted to show you the only thing you need: trusty little flathead screwdriver. And what you will notice is the antennas do slide out this edge right here away from the antenna wire. But to get it there, there's a small little triangular like tab that you have to clear. So for me, the way that I did it was I took my little flathead screwdriver and I worked it back behind the antenna on the back side. Now be careful, you don't want to crack these PCBs, but you can be a little, decently hard on them. They're not going to break. Then I just pushed as I pulled down. So with my finger, I'm pulling down on that lip to let it clear that little triangle, and I just pushed, and there you go. It slides right out. Now you will need to give it some slack to get all the way out here. There we go. We've got that one out. Now we'll go to the bottom one. The bottom one is slightly more tricky. Comes right out the exact same way, but there's the little lip you have to clear there. So same thing, I'm going to work my screwdriver to the back side as with my finger, you see my finger, I'm just pushing up right on that lip just to get it to clear. The bottom one is a little trickier. You don't want to break, again, that PCB. All right, if you have to, what you could do too is you could get your little screwdriver up under the front and then you could slide it. There you go. And it just went through. I couldn't get it without, I was starting to kind of nip the edge, if you see. It's not damaged, it's all good. But I didn't want to break it anymore. So then again, slack, pull it through like that. And now it's just a matter of taking off the screws and the nuts. And for that, you could use your flathead still, but you'll just need a standard Phillips screwdriver. Maybe some pliers or needle nose to catch the spinning nut on the back side. There we go. And bam. Now I can run those out, pull those through, and now I've got the antennas out. So the only other thing I was going to show you from there was these antennas have these huge cables on them, right? Like, I mean, they are, you can't even see them all. And you don't need that much. So you can take the black silicone off. I use a little bit of the tip of a knife just to peel it up a little bit and then just literally rub it off with my finger like wipe it, and it just wipes right off typically. Try not to scratch. You don't want to scratch the PCB up. If you got a little piece hanging on. But you do want to clean as much of the rubber off with your finger that you can before you take your soldering iron to it. So we clean that off. I'm going to go ahead and cut my iron on, and I'm going to cut my iron on just to about 450, 480. So I've cleaned it off. Let's see if I can get it to focus. Come on. There we go. While we wait for the iron to heat up. And what we're going to do is we're just going to desolder the wires. You'll see the tip is soldered to the little point there, and then you have your shielding on the edges. So it's a real simple solder job to do. And if you ever damage the wires and need to clip them, or like I said, in this case, you don't have a giant, aircraft to put these on. So we're going to start. I actually will take the shielding off first because it'll allow you to peel the front end off. Now, you do not want to peel anything. Like I said, peel, but you don't want to pull hard on any of this. You just want to get heated up on the shielding. There we go. Got that one done. I'm actually going to clean it up. There we go. With the tip. So, get the tip of the, there. So now, you have two solder pads. The bigger one, the bottom one is your shielding, and the top one is the inner wire. So I can now shorten this to however long I want to. I know about how long I want this one. So we're going to take, there we go, took some clippers, and now I've got a more manageable, maybe 8 inches at the most. And we will remove, there we go. So when you remove the shrink tube, you want to split the shielding up into 2 pieces. So 2 different halves, and then you'll twist them together. Be very careful, it's fine wires. You don't want to pull them off. You do want to make sure you get as many strays or as many of the strands together. You don't want any stray wires just floating around because they could touch from the shielding pad to the signal pad or whatever it's called, I don't know. So there we go. So now we've got it, hopefully you can see, twisted. Cool. All right. So now, once you get it twisted and you got all the strays away, go ahead and get the tip just so ever so closely. I actually will even use my fingertips. You need that tip exposed. All right. So we've got 2 sides ones, and then there we go. And now we need to lower our iron to a manageable temp. Like I said, about 450 is what I'm going to work at. I'm going to tin these real quick. All right. After I tin them, I'm going to trim excess that I'm not going to use. There we go. And now I'm going to start bend them a little closer after kind of testing to see where they're going to fit. So you can see it's going to fit just like that. So we will start with the very small tip one for the whatever the middle of the wire is. Forget what it's called. Make sure it's a nice solid connection before soldering the other 2 so you know it's solid. I kind of turn it to make it line up with the pad, and then I'll solder this one on. And then I'm going to kind of turn it again. All right. So now we've got it resoldered on properly. We're touching the pads with the shielding, and we've got those soldered nicely. And I'm just going to double check the tip again. There we go. And then what you're going to want to do is drop a little bit of hot glue or silicone back over it. I just personally use a little bit of hot glue. It peels off really nice and clean. I just use a little dab. And there you go. You're ready now with a shortened antenna for the Connex HD Pro Sight. So there you go. Fly safe, fly smart. I hope you guys got some good info out of this. Oh, last tip. When updating your receiver or your VTX, it has to be plugged in to the app and powered on either with the LiPo on your copter or however you're powering your RX. To upgrade, they have to be powered on. Fly safe, fly smart, guys. Just fly Connex.